Joining us from New York is Laura Champine, analyst at Cowen and Company, who agrees that the spending is not coming from a position of strength, but a crouching position. Laura, for somebody like you who follows the retail space, I guess you better take a sabbatical then. There's nothing out there worth looking at.
Well, sad to say, you typically can take a vacation between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and not much happens in retail. This year may be even worse without the stimulus checks in the mail, with some of the tax holidays pushed into August. It's hard to find signs of life in retail, usually even harder this year, we think.
So, it's become the proverbial needle in the haystack kind of a search. Are the actual kind of candidates which you can proscribe or advocate, are they kind of falling pin by pin now?
Well, there are a couple of companies that are still doing, and a couple of subsectors still doing better than expected. I think that teen apparel, particularly promotional teen apparel, companies like Aeropostale and Buckle are still putting up eye-poppingly good numbers. Another sort of needle in a haystack would be air and rents, which in the rent-to-own sector can benefit as consumers it's tougher and tougher for them to get credit. You get turned down at Best Buy, you go across the street to air and rents. Their business just posted the biggest upside I've seen in 8 years.
It sounds like what we used to see with banks kind of kicking each other to try to throw mortgage money at you regardless of whether you went bankrupt, you have alimony or child support. Is there a common theme that you're looking at? I mean, is there really a very palpable kind of you can cut through it with a knife kind of austerity theme which is working in favor of some of these companies which you're looking at?
I think discounters are obviously doing better than luxury. I think that clothes for young people is doing better than men's suiting, or especially women's professional apparel. I think that in general you want low tickets, and we are seeing a divergence towards the discounters, towards the dollar stores, as people are now willing to drive across the street just to go to Costco and save a few dollars on paper towels.
I was going to say that. You know, when I go back to visit the folks in the States, man, I can't even find a parking spot in Costco. People are buying more 60 packs of toilet tissues than ever before. How long is this theme going to be around? Can we write off, Coach, Leatherworks? Can we write off Tiffany and the powder blue block boxes for, the next 5 or 10 years? Or do you think it'll be a quick turnaround?
Well, Coach, for example, has already brought handbag price points down 10 or 15%, and they're actually selling more purses and fewer accessories that way. So that is good for their business, and they're doing that mostly with new product development. But that's about a $300 ticket. That Tiffany blue box that goes for $2,000, you can certainly trade down to a $1,000 ring, and I think most of us would be pretty glad to get it at this point.
With a cubic zirconia solitaire in the middle, nonetheless. We'll wait for the real rock for later. What about economies of scale? You know, when you have somebody like a Walmart, they have pricing power. They can nail it to the wholesalers. They can get that, mixed herb salad for, probably 99 cents, get it to you at 99 cents a pound rather than $1.99 like you get at Safeway or Albertsons. Are we looking at economies of scale being a defining factor in this space?
I think we are, but I also think that every retailer is putting pressure on the suppliers. So those poor suppliers with just sort of a residue of demand yet left are cutting prices. Sometimes we're hearing in half. So I think that even smaller companies, I think Gap is leveraging its scale, but I also think companies like an Aeropostale, or even like a Buckle with 400 stores, small in comparison to Gap's 3,100, are using demand in general to drive their suppliers to lower prices. Suppliers can't afford to give up any customers. Absolutely, yeah. They're opening later and 7 days a week, even until 9 p.m. at night in some locales. Final quick question for you, Laura. $1.3 trillion in household wealth destruction in the United States. Are we basically going to go into hiding and underground like the hedgehog for some time to come? Do you see any sort of a disaster scenario looming? Maybe a long time before jewelry sales come back. I do think that customers will continue to spend on necessities. I think the trade down will work. I think companies will have to show value. So I think we likely will see lesser spending and more saving for the long term, which hopefully is good for all of us. Unfortunately, that may take 5 or 10 years to show positive fruit.
I'm not going to hold my breath then. I'll probably be long blue before that. Thanks, Laura. Laura Champine joining us from Cowen and Company.